Welcome to the Javier Mendez Podcast from Dagestan with Coach Javier Mendez, who's made a new buddy, Hasbulla. We've seen a lot of these videos. How is it hanging with the man, the Dagestan gangster number one?
um, it's like people are kind of calling me, contacting me, wanting to know if I can get in touch with him because they want, some of the other fighters want to get in touch with him, or like one of my friends asked me if you could say hello to him, and I did that, and then another friend asked, and the bottom line is I don't know the kid. I just was around him a couple times.
Right.
He seems to be a really nice kid, but honestly, he gets so irritated by all the people treating him like a little baby. He's not a baby. He's an 18 or 19-year-old man. And it's kind of tough, I think, being him, because everybody picks him up like a little baby, takes him around, and even me, they tricked me. They had me hold his hands when I'm walking them into the lobby of the hotel, and I didn't realize what they were doing until later. I seen it on Instagram, and here I'm walking with my son. I'm like, man, you guys, it's like, it's just, I don't know. I'm not his friend. I just barely met him. He's a nice kid, but I don't know him. So for those of you that think I'm connected to him or something, and you want me to have him say hello to you, please stop. I don't know him.
No, you just met him, chance encounter. And he's like a social media superstar.
He is a superstar. He is a superstar, big time. He's I can see why too. He's got charisma. I mean, he's a funny kid, and the thing that's odd about him is his Instagram accounts. They keep getting hacked, or they're stolen from him, or I don't know what's going on, but he should have millions and millions of followers. And for whatever reason, he's got Instagrams everywhere, and they're not really him. They claim to be the official Instagram of Habulla, but they're not him. He gave me his Instagram, and his Instagram, when I met him, he only had like 7 or 8 posts. But he's had posts before that, so he's had millions of followers. I don't know what's going on, but he definitely is somebody that a lot of people like. I like him. He's a good kid.
Instantly viral, man. Yeah, that's a trip. I've heard other podcasters go, man, I'd pay $10,000 to have Hasbulla on my thing. People from the comedy world get nothing to do with MMA. It's like they all want to reach out to him. They're like, oh my gosh, Hav, hook it up, like you're the Hasbulla agent, right?
Yeah. They're reaching out, and then they're just, even say, sorry, coach, but he's more famous than you. And I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Of course he's more famous. I mean, there's not many people like him. He's unique.
So what was it like? I mean, you were there for a week. You landed in Dagestan, probably hit the gym a couple times, didn't really get everything rolling, I would assume, maybe a couple of practices, and then it was pop right over to Eagles, the fight, the commemorative fight for Abdul Monop, right?
Yeah, Abdul Monop. Yeah, his father. Yeah, his father's annual show in Moscow. I got in. We trained the guys. Basically 2 days. I trained the guys 2 days, and I went to Moscow. And training is great. The guys are great. Everybody's in really good shape. Team Eagle, Khabib's team's he's got a huge team. Huge team. Bunch of guys, champion wrestlers, kickboxing world champions. I mean, he's got, you name it. They're all there, except not many heavyweights. That's what's not there. Not many heavyweights at all. I've seen maybe one heavyweight who's a Russian champion of Dagestan, and other than that, I didn't really see too many people too heavy.
Heavyweights are hard to find. That's what I hear. It's like hard for the UFC to find them too.
I think so. I think so. Heavyweights are not that easy to find. But, if you want anything else, Team Eagle has it. They've got, quite a bit. They got great coaching. Everything. It's really, really good. Training's really good.
How was Moscow? How did you like the show? How was that experience? I think it was like Eagles and another promotion, right? They were co-oping together.
As far as I know, it's just Fight Nights was throwing the event, but it was an Eagles, Eagles Fighting Championships. I don't recall anybody else being involved other than Fight Night. That's who was the like the fight night show is well, maybe that's, you're right. Maybe that's because ABC has that too, right? The ACC, whatever that is, the other one they have in Russia that starts with an A, right? ACA. Okay, you got ACA, and
Right.
this was fight night. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was UFC and fight nights joined together. You're probably right about that. It was crazy.
Really?
Just crazy. I've never in my life experienced fan craziness like this. Trying to get into the venue, I'm not kidding. Trying to get into the venue, we were smashed. Trying to go through that line, smashed. I couldn't go anywhere. I got smashed everywhere I went. Photos, and if you stop for one photo, you're done. That's it. You're done, because then they're just swarming on you. I mean, they're such huge fans of MMA that anybody that's known, they want a picture of. It's so crazy. Like, as soon as we got there, one of the cornermen was coaching their fighter to win, blah, 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 blah. Their fighter lost. As soon as their fighter lost, what does he do? He looks at me, he goes, photo, right? And I said, yeah, okay. So he went underneath, take a photo with me. Not worried about his guy, went to take a photo with me. And that's when I knew, okay, that was strange. I never had that happen before. And fighters would win, and they'd come and look at you and say, hey, I want to come to your gym, et cetera, things like that. But the fans are like no fans I've ever seen. They're so hungry for the sport, so passionate. They're so passionate for the celebrities that are in MMA. They're so passionate. It's unless you've been there, you won't understand it.
So you kind of have your own Beatles-like experience, like, oh my gosh, it's the Javier Mendez show, because you're affiliated with Khabib. So your whole team.
I wouldn't say I have the same like the Beatles. I would say a lot of the guys like Islam, Islam Makhachev, Umar, even Monop, all the guys they were known had that same experience. It's just crazy, Islam was the smart one. He covered up really well, so they didn't know who he was. He was like a ninja, weaving through the crowd. But some of us weren't as smart as he was. But he came prepared. Islam came prepared, and Khabib was taken care of all the time. Khabib would get it 10 times worse than anybody. So he skates through real easy.
That's funny. So I mean, you're rolling in with Hasbulla. Come on. I mean, that's even double trouble. I mean, that's
well, I wasn't with Hasbulla. If I was with Hasbulla, he would got smashed.
right.
To protect him. He sat where I was sitting, but he didn't walk in with me. Trust me, because how can you protect him? You can't. You couldn't protect him. He'd be destroyed. I don't know how he got in there, but he made it safely, and he made it out safely. Obviously, I'm walking him to the hotel room at that night. So no, it would have been bad for him. That would have been really horrible, because they were pushing and shoving and pictures in your face. I mean, and then once they took one picture, then you're thinking that's it. But no. As soon as you take a picture with them, then it's like, say hello to my friend. Please say this. Please say that. Salam alaikum. And oh, okay. And you want to be nice to everybody. I'm never mean to anyone, no matter who it is. I'm never mean to them. But it was very difficult to take care of all of them. It's so difficult because you'll never get out of there.
How many people were at the event?
I don't know, but at first it looked empty, and at the very end there was packed, so it was sold out. So whatever it was, I don't know.
Big arena, like thousands of people at least.
It was thousands of people for sure, maybe 6,000-7,000. I don't know, maybe less. But it was packed. I will tell you that it was packed.
Wow. So how is the weather in Moscow? Not too bad this time of year, just before it turns freezingly cold when you go back?
It wasn't bad. It was like, you need to wear a jacket, or a nice shirt. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't, it definitely wasn't, oh, I need a really heavy duty jacket. No.
So you're spending a lot of time with Monop. Is he showing you around? I mean, he's like getting all the coaching in that he can. He's like, he needs to come to coach, and he takes care of you, but is he working hard for his next camp, his next fight?
No. He hasn't been doing anything. He got staff. So when he came up, I looked at him and said, "Hey, what's that you got in your elbow?" "Oh, coach." I go, "Man, that's staff."
And, that's what he was showing on the video.
Yes, staff. That's why I pointed at him. I go, "What is that?" What? And that's staff. So yeah, he had to go get it opened up and everything. So he's ready to go now, but that was staff.
What about Usman? You're getting ready. His fight's the next fight coming up, right?
Yeah, he's we haven't trained yet. I haven't seen him yet. Sure, we'll meet up this week sometime.
So you have a couple of weeks before his fight, or when is his fight?
Yeah, I'll have about 3 weeks with him before his fight.
That's cool. Have you caught up with any of the boxing or seen any of this stuff? Have you seen the finishes of you know, Holyfield and Vitor and Tito and all
Well,
that?
the Holyfield thing made me look like an idiot because Belfort just proved my point incorrect. It's like he proved to me that age is a factor. Number one, he also proved to me that he's a badass. Number two, so a combination of both. He proved that he's a badass. Number one and foremost, Vitor's a badass. Number two is that Holyfield is old, but let's not forget about number one. It was number one because my conversation was that I didn't see it. No way. He's one of the best heavyweights of all time. All the mental, everything he's had. Even if he wasn't in great shape, I still thought he had more than enough. But I was completely wrong, and that was only because Vitor is that good as a boxer. That's why. So I was completely wrong, and I'll admit it, completely wrong. I was way off base on that one. I wasn't off base on Anderson's fight with Tito, but I was definitely way off. As much of a lopsided fight as the Tito versus Anderson, the same was said about Vitor versus Holyfield, except it was the opposite. I thought Holyfield was going to win. Well, obviously, it didn't happen that way because Vitor just cleaned his clock, So there you go. I was 100% wrong.
Well, isn't that sometimes like you can get that locked in your mind, like you don't see, like you can just see this guy like eternal Holyfield, but then give Father Time some stuff. You're like, well, he looks great. I don't know. I think he's still in shape. He's still,
Well,
even if he's only 10% of that, he's great, and that probably
Well,
marinates.
I'll tell you, after I did the thing with the podcast, I'm talking about him. I watched him hit pads, right? And I seen him throw a left hook in the pad work he was doing. He was doing great with the jab and the straight. He threw the left hook. It looked like he was going to fall on his ass just on the left hook. I went, uh-oh. I said, uh-oh. But I still, even though I said, uh-oh, I still thought that he still had way too much. But when he threw that left hook on the pads, he almost fell on his ass. I'm not joking. It was bad.
I think there's an age limit, man. I think there is. I think there's an age limit. We've seen some comebacks. What was the oldest comeback? Was that George Foreman to make a comeback or Randy Couture?
Well, George Foreman for boxing, yeah, he
Right,
came back
right.
and he won the world title. I think at 46,
Something like that, yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
I think 50 is the magic number. Like, don't mess with anybody at 50, man. And like going because I saw his hip misfiring when he was throwing punches. His hip wasn't firing. The muscles in his hip, Holyfield.
Holyfield.
Yeah, yeah. I saw,
Yeah,
I saw unbalanced. I go, ooh, this
I
ain't gonna
didn't
go
see none of
well.
the fight. All I know is I was wrong.
That's how it goes. So the Bellator card that's coming up. Did you hear anything about the Romero fight? When his first debut.
I heard it was a split decision. Romero, basically, he used to doing 5-round fights. He didn't get going or didn't. I mean, but that's been his big gripe all along. Not inactivity. It's always been his issues. Inactivity. If that guy would just go out and push the pace, he'd be difficult to stop. But he never does. It's the same thing like that Woodley did with Jake Paul. He didn't throw enough punches. Well, Romero's the same.
Right.
He's one of the greatest athletes that and specimens I've ever seen. That he just doesn't do enough volume. Nothing on anything. He got a great chin. Got one of the greatest wrestling credentials in MMA, and he's athletic. He's got power. I mean, the only thing he doesn't have is how he fights. That's it. He's never fought to where I looked at him and go, man, that guy, is unbeatable. No, he always fights to the point where that guy's beatable because he doesn't do enough activity.
He doesn't push the pace, man. He doesn't push the
No,
pace.
no, that's my only gripe against him is that's it. If I had to say anything, that's it. He's just not active enough. Nothing else. Nothing else. If he's active, well, I mean, I could say he doesn't use his, what he's great at wrestling, but he doesn't need to as long as he's active on the stand up because he's got really good stand up, really good.
He get out wrestled hard by Davis. Davis started taking him down in the third just like he was nothing. And, it's like, hey, you've had this pedigree, but here's the thing about wrestling pedigree, I got to think. Like, you may have been a champion a decade ago or another decade before, Is that like playing, hey, you were the champion in football when football was big in 1962 compared to a 1999 team or a 2000 team? You know what I mean? I wonder if that benchmarks you, like the evolution of that sport goes on, and you were good back then. You know what I mean? Like you were good yesteryear.
Well, well, to some degree that's true too. But then again, this isn't wrestling. This is MMA, and if you're wrestling, you're wrestling. If you're doing MMA, you're doing MMA. So trust me, there's world class wrestlers that get taken down in MMA wrestling because it's different. They have to worry about being punched, kicked, and they're not comfortable with it, and they don't do it enough, or they just never can get comfortable with it. So they'll get taken down. Whereas if you just wrestle these guys, yeah, forget about it. There was a guy that came to my gym that was one of the greatest collegiate wrestlers, Joe. The name will come to me, but his first name was Joe. He's one of the most decorated wrestlers. He was looking to switch over to MMA. So he goes and he does, tries to put on the gloves, put MMA. The guy was just horrible. He just was not comfortable with getting punched. He was not comfortable whatsoever, and then he went to wrestling. And man, did you just go, what the hell just happened here? When it was just pure wrestling, this guy just went through people like nothing. But when it came to striking, he just lost it. He couldn't do it. He could not do it. So, not everybody's made out to be a fighter, and not everybody's made out to be a great wrestler either, like he was, but and some people can do both, like DC. He's a great wrestler, great fighter, greater fighter than he was a wrestler because he was able to accomplish 2 world titles in MMA, whereas in the wrestling he came up a little short. Silver medal, right? Was it silver or bronze?
I don't recall. I just
Yeah, well, he came up short, and then the second one, because of kidney failure, he came up short, not being able to compete in the second Olympics. But DC was one of the best, at wrestling too.
Here's a card. I'm going to share the screen. We can talk about this. There's some interesting fights. We're seeing the resurgence of Nick Diaz after many, many years away from the spotlight. He's been around in the Bay Area forever. I've known him. You've known about him, met him over the years. How do you think that's going to go?
Should be a fun fight. Robbie Lawler, and is probably looking forward to having a fight with him. And I look at it as a very fun fight. Very fun fight. That's a fight that could potentially win on that one because both of those guys are going to wing it. I don't see Robbie going to the ground. I don't see Nick going to the ground. I see a slugfest. Who wins? I don't really know. I think I'm going to stop predicting. I'm just going to just say it's a good fight. Because I really don't know, man. It's just tough to predict.
I wonder if it's got any more like it's like the junior level of the older guys coming out of the woods to have a boxing match. 17 years in, they're not that far out of the sport. They're not that old. They're not 58-year-old boxers or whatever. You know what I mean? So it should be some skin on it. But Nick hasn't fought in years, right? So
Couple of years. Last time he fought, I think, was Anderson Silva, right?
I believe so. That might have been the one.
Nick Diaz is not that old. He's 36, 37.
Yeah, he's not that old.
And Robbie's probably around the same, right?
Yeah, they're comparable in age. Let's see here. I'm going to bring the card
One,
up
I think, one has been fighting longer because Robbie's been fighting more consistent. Nick has been hit and miss, but Nick takes good care of his body, bro. So I don't know.
It's a pretty stacked card. I mean, you've got Nick versus Robbie, and then Valentina Shevchenko versus Lauren Murphy. And
for the title, right?
I believe so. I mean, Lauren's been pretty tough. She's real hardy, but Valentina's like a super strong and a technician. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They're both. I've seen good on both, but I think I've seen Valentina winning longer, so she probably has the formula for success there. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, the thing is, Lauren's on the way up. She's doing great. She's been doing great. Valentina is a surgeon to me in every aspect of MMA. Every aspect of MMA. She's so slick. She's so ahead of everybody. Like I said, she's a surgeon. But what happens in the fight, I don't know.
Right.
I just know that she's a surgeon in MMA. That's what I do know. She is one really, really skilled individual. She is really, really skilled, and she's a hard worker. She's probably been doing martial arts for most part of all her life. I think she made a comment about 28 years or 26 years as a martial artist. So that means she probably started when she was 5 or 6, because I don't think she's that old. I mean, she might be 32, 33. I don't know how old she is, but I think she's right in there. She looks that way anyways. But they don't get any more skilled than her. That's why I said I call her a surgeon.
We've also got Cynthia, who was training at your gym, Cynthia Calvillo. I don't know if she's trained there anymore, but she was there for a while.
She trained
Versus
for
Jessica Andrade.
yeah. She just trained for one fight, I believe, with us. One fight, I think. I think only one.
And she's fighting Jessica Andrade. I mean, Cynthia's got a lot of heart. She's a go-getter.
Well, she's just got a lot of heart, but she's also very skilled too on the ground. She's very skilled.
Oh yeah.
And don't count Cynthia out by any means. She's a big girl too. So don't count her out. No way. But Jessica is a powerhouse. So I don't know. We'll see. But don't count Cynthia out. That's all I can say.
I'm gonna skip her one. I'm gonna go to the top of the card. Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega coming off the Ultimate Fighter show. You have the grappling master versus the Australian. He's pretty well rounded. He's a tough
workhorse.
guy.
He's like a workhorse. He's got everything. The thing is with Brian Ortega, he's improved vastly in his striking. From every time I see him, he comes out better and better, and he's innovative. He works on new technologies all the time. I'm getting better, and he does get better. So he was tough enough when he was just jiu-jitsu, mostly pure jiu-jitsu. Now he's adapted within the last 4 or 5 fights. He's adapted more MMA style type of training, and he's more dangerous. So, I don't know how you cannot think this fight's going to be fireworks. As you got the champ. Like I said, he's a workhorse. He does everything, and he's good at everything. And you got, Brian, who's like on the ground. He's like a wizard, compared to all the other guys, But you can't discount his striking anymore. Not compared to what I've seen his last fights. So he's going to be more formidable of an opponent than they think. I don't know how that's going to go. I'll just flip a coin in the air and see how it lands. But that's a tough fight.
I like Brian. I like Brian Ortega. I like his style. I like his personality, the way he comes across. But I am leaning a little towards Volkanovski. It's just like somewhere in my subconscious algorithm in my brain is saying this is the one. Not that I'm the world's best handicapper, but I don't know. For some reason,
hey, well,
just comes to mind.
You saw how good I was at it, and I'm supposed to be a so-called coach.
Is that the name of our new show? We see how many fights we can pick wrong.
Yeah,
and I was wrong again. I'm a winner. It's opposite day, right?
Hey, you know what? If it was so easy, there'd be a lot of coaches out there just making a ton of money. If it was so easy to pick the winners,
I feel like it was at one time. In the early days, you could pick and win. I was picking and winning, and then hey. Stuff changes, variables change, the sport evolves. It's not so basic. Boxer versus wrestler. This wrestler's taking down a bunch of boxers. Okay, I know who's.
It was definitely easier. Yes, it was definitely easier. Now it's actually harder because of the very reason. And I just mentioned it with the Brian Ortega. It's like I said before, he was just primarily a jiu-jitsu guy. Now he's coming out striking and innovative, and he's doing all these new technology type training. And now he's a different fighter, so you're correct, 100%. It's harder to predict because these guys are all training, and in the game of chess, it's one move and you're checkmate.
So what is it like now? What's the training schedule look like now? You got Usman coming up for a fight. Anybody else on that card, or anybody else from the team, the Eagles and
Gaji and Usman are fighting in Moscow on the 23rd, and on the October 30th, it's Islam Makhachev, it's Zubaira, and it's Tahir. They're all fighting in the UFC on October 30th. And then Dana White's looking for fights. We might have Mo Alec, my one fighter. We might get him on there. I'm not sure about if he'll be on that one or December. He'll be fighting soon. We'll see.
Yeah, homegrown AKA guy.
Yeah, but this is not UFC. This is a UAE Warriors event, which I think is the best show in the Middle East, hands down.
And then that's a good one of the places for Dana to go, let's see the local show. And that's a real production. That's not like he's going to look at
No,
you
it's
know
like I said. When I say what I say, I mean it. And when you're there and you see the production value and the fighters, the skill level of the fighters they have fighting for them, you'd agree with me too. You go, oh, okay, they're good. They're really good.
it's
They
not a
know.
circus, it's not a circus tent event
No,
with it's people, like it's a real production.
it's a real
So
production. It's a first class rate a production. Fuad Darwish, and the CEO. He's an incredible promoter and an incredible friend. And is the big boss, what I call him, Abdul Manam. He's just an incredible guy too. And they have the resources, they have the will, and they have the desire to bring that show higher and higher, and they will.
So, like, what is it going to look like from here on out? 3 days a week, you're going to do training. Um, are you getting a schedule back? Because it's hard to bounce around. I can't imagine how hard it is to keep the
No, it's
continuity of
five days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like we do at AKA. The sparring that goes to that. Tuesdays, Thursdays, they do grappling type stuff. I don't care to be around that. And then Monday through Friday, I work with guys at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now it's the Bellator guys. They're going to get what? Well, it's
No,
not even
no,
priority. Everybody kind of equal, right?
it's everybody. It's not only it's my guys, basically my core guys. My core guys are Islam, Zuba, Tahir, Monop, Umar, Ushman, the other Islam Abadov. Those are my core guys when I'm over here. Those are the guys that I'll always be with, and maybe I'll pick up one other person here and there, but those are my main guys. And I can't train everybody, bro. They got close to 50 or 60 professionals over here. Like I said, every kind of level you can think of. They're just incredible athletes. They got champions in every discipline over here.
Well, you're not the coach that goes stalking people down like you should train with me. You've never been that guy.
No, I never will be.
Never. Right.
No, they
Right.
have to ask me. I don't. And I look, I'm not. I may be their head coach, but I'm not the head coach of the team. That's
Right.
different. They have a great coach that runs the striking. He's one of the better coaches I've ever seen, and they have some great, grappling, wrestling coaches. So they got a great foundation. I'm not here to take over those classes. No, 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 no. I come in and I add my input to the sparring and certain things, and the guys that I specifically mentioned. But I'm not here to train everybody on the team. No, no, no. That would kill me. Too many
Right.
guys.
Do you see any guys there? You're like, ooh, that would be a good one. I know that you don't solicit. You're never out there
No,
just.
there's just almost every single one of these guys that you can look
You're
at them
like,
and go, "Ooh."
what if I had all 50? I'd have the whole UFC.
I'm not joking. They're incredible. All these guys, you look at these guys, you go, Jesus, these guys are so good. They're so good. So good.
Right.
So it's not one, it's many that I have my people that I work with, and I don't need any more at the present time.
You're going to distribute them around a whole bunch of different fight leagues, I take it, because then the UFC would only be Dagestan Fight League by the time it's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Right?
They have to fight for Bellator. They have to fight for ONE FC. They have to fight for PFL. They have to fight for let's say ONE FC, right? Bellator, ONE FC, PFL, and then some of the other ones will go for the other leagues. But spread them out, take them different places. But
How
that's
how
all
is
you can do.
how's the food there? What are you having that's good in
Food's
Dagestan?
great. Everything's great. Salads are good. Pastries are good. Khabib has just opened his first papaka, which his traditional hat,
Right, right.
and it's a coffee shop, but it's also has food, desserts. It's incredible. They had the first one here in Dagestan, and it's pretty packed all the time. It's really really nice. Really great quality food.
Do they have you on the menu the Javier Mendez cake or something? Do they have a thing?
No, I don't think so. I think the most they have is maybe Habib's special coffee that he likes, which is a latte type. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. It's really good.
Are you spending much time with him, or he's so busy? You're like, hey,
No,
you
I've
know.
only seen Habib one time. I've only spent time with him this Saturday. I spent 2 hours with him. That's it. Since I've been here, he's too busy. You know, a lot of people, oh, can you say hello to Khabib? I go, yeah, when I see him. I
Right,
don't
right,
see him
right.
myself. You know, I seen him. He took a picture, him and I in the car. He posted it on Instagram, and that was pretty much it.
But that's what happens when you get to that level. You become about time management, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
and he's a businessman. Not only is he a great coach, he's you know he's also got a family. You know, and you know he's got to devote time to everything. You know, he can't ignore his family. He can't ignore. He doesn't ignore the fighters. He doesn't ignore the business. I mean, so obviously, you know, if I'm telling you, yeah, I spend all day with him, and all you know, we spend all this time, then who's doing the business? Who's running the business? He is. So he didn't spend that much time with me.
right? No, that's pretty awesome. So you get to have that. Who are you spending most of your time with Monop then? He's your main guy,
No,
or
Kirby
hmm?
I've been Monop, my second guy. But Kirby, I've been spending a lot of time with Kirby. He's been taking me everywhere. He's like one of my best buddies. You know, he teaches me the culture, the do's and the don'ts, and you know a lot of good things. He's just the nicest. You know, I put him on my Instagram too, where his adopted sons is looking for a mom.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah,
architect, right? The
that's
architect
Kerbitai.
that's on
Yeah,
your
the
Instagram.
architect, the kid is studying to be an architect. Kerbitai is his father, and that's my buddy. That's the one that his adopted father. But it's not like really, but it is because he took it upon himself to take care of this kid who had no family, and he just took care of this kid. That's over here. The one difference is when you're over here. This is not a rich state by any means, Dagestan and Hachkala, right? It's not rich. But listen, I've yet to see one person begging on the street. I yet to see any garbage anywhere. You know, it's clean, super clean. You know, and the people are super nice. You know, about the only thing negative, there may be two things. Negative, number one, negativity, driving. They drive crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh man, my they drive crazy. It scares me. It's just so crazy. You know, that's number one. Number two, the roads. The roads are not. You know, they're not made right. That's why if there's a big rain or decent rain, it'll get flooded quick over here because
You need a
they're not.
big four-wheel drive over there, right, to survive.
Yeah, the sewer system is not proper for the amount of people that are here. I think it's got like the city itself is 1 point something million people now. So yeah, I can
Wow.
imagine that, right? A lot of people, a lot of people.
We should do another live soon, Hav. Our last one's doing pretty good. Um, things are looking good over here. I'm about to take a trip, so I did this with you, so we'd have something out this week. Any other exciting news coming up with your fighters in your stay?
No,
No, that's it. Okay, guys, make sure you subscribe, like, follow. Love the podcast because we love you back. And maybe we'll do a live one depending on Javier's availability and me coming back. That would probably be next week if that happened. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I stopped.